Alright, so this first question again was through email. The email Mike, and he said he has two PBNs from Emon with different hosts, and a 2.0 PBN with backlinks linking to his money site. He has another PBN ready on a different host but still using Emon. Alright, so basically he's saying he has two links going to his site, both are from Emon on different host. Or Enom, I'm sorry. And he has a third one that's also on Enom on a third different host. Is it safe to do it now, or should I wait until you can move the month to another, or move the domain to another registrar? I don't know for sure because I haven't done it yet. If I had to guess, I would say it's fine because Enom is such a huge domain registrar. You know, just like GoDaddy. If you had three links off from GoDaddy, I don't see that being a problem. So I don't think it will with Enom either, because they're all on different hosts. So I mean, my guess is that it would be fine to do that, to link to the site from a third Enom site, because they're all on different hosts. But I'm not positive about it because I haven't done that. Now, if it was a smaller host, something like Big Rock or something like that, I would say definitely don't do it. But again, Enom is so big that I don't know. I highly doubt that they would hit you for that. I wouldn't keep that pattern up. I would try to break that pattern as soon as you can. But I highly doubt that just because three domains coming in are from Enom, that you would have a problem. Because again, Enom's huge. They're a very very big registrar. I could be wrong, but that's my guess on it. All right. If it was GoDaddy, I would say definite because they're the biggest. Definite, you wouldn't have a problem. But Enom, I know they're big, but they're not as big as GoDaddy. But again, I don't think that would be a problem. All right, so let me go to the question box here. Oops, I gotta get pinged up. Alright, so first one here is from Vince. How many posts per PBN? A lot of them have just one now, Vince. But it depends on the niche. If it's a competitive niche where I need a lot of PBNs, I wouldn't have all just one post PBNs because that could start. That's a pattern you start creating. But for most local terms, that's fine. Um, so it really depends on the niche. Like if it's in a competitive niche, you don't want all one post. I would start adding more content to some of them, so you don't have a repeating pattern of one post, one post, one post, one post, one post. Um, and I usually link to. I mean, the more money sites you link to from a PBN, the greater risk. If something happens to that PBN, then it could affect all the money sites you're linking to. So I mean, I try my best to link to just one site per PBN, but of course I sometimes get lazy and I'll link to multiple PBN or multiple sites from a PBN. I just won't do my really important sites. I'll usually just put on one PBN. Kind of dedicate a PBN. I mean, you can really even go beyond that and kind of build out your PBNs, do more content. You can do social stuff for your PBNs, like build a Facebook and a Twitter for each PBN. Like a lot of people go in depth like there, not a lot of people, but some people go in depth like that. Like Stephen Floyd does that, where he'll actually build out social properties for each PBN. So I mean, it really just depends how far you want to take it. Uh, I've been doing a lot of reverse engineering over the last week, and to tell you the truth, it's crazy. The low quality of PBNs that are still working. People are throwing up, a paragraph. I mean, literally 50 words – on their PBNs and ranking like crazy still. But just be careful doing that type of stuff because that could easily come to an end. But it's funny because that stuff is still working. It's just it depends how far you want to take it and how safe you want to be as to where you want to go. All right, but I mean, how many links back to my money sites again? The lesser you do, the safer. But of course, I have certain sites where I'm not as worried about it, especially like testing stuff, where I'll do more links and kind of see what happens. So the less links you do, the more safe you'll be, and the more power you're gonna have them to. From events again. No, I wouldn't have the time to do that, Vince. But Gregory Ortiz, I don't know if he's here or not. No, he's not here, but he's in the Facebook group. Gregory Ortiz does PBN stuff, where he'll do it all for you, and you can pay him to do that. All right. And he's got nothing but good reviews, by the way. All right, from Vince again. Don't worry about that, Vince. Especially with the new way we're doing hosting with mostly shared hosting. You don't have to worry about private name servers. If you're using a different host for each one, you don't got to worry about private name servers. What you would want to worry about is if you're using SEO hosting, and say that the name servers are like ns1.seohosting.com and ns2.seohosting.com. You If you keep sending links from that same host with those same name servers, that's a footprint in two ways now because you're sending it from the same host, and also your sites would be having the same name servers. Okay, linking to your money site. So that's not something really we have to worry about anymore because we're more using shared hosting, regular hosting now, where you can just use the name servers that the regular hosting company gives you because it's going to be different each time because you're not sending links from the same hosting company anyway. Okay. From Eric. I haven't tested Fiverr yet still. I gotta put that on my list actually because I've been meaning to do that. I mean, I still have some videos ranking from stuff I use from Fiverr, like this one shows really big. I don't know if it still does or not. Last time I checked, it was a really big. Yeah, it's still showing like as a huge video number one. And this used a Fiverr gig. I use Seawork Service for this, but it could have been it could be properties that he doesn't use anymore. So I'll have to test around with Fiverr and see what happens. I think a lot of people aren't aware that you have to really expand the anchor text more, even though you're going after YouTube. Before you could do a lot more keyword anchor text. Now they've cut that out more. So I think a lot of people just aren't aware of that. So I'll actually go in and test Fiverr myself. I'll get some videos up and order a few gigs, and see what I can get out of it, and I'll let you guys know. That'll probably take a few weeks though, but I'll put that on my list. All right, from Carol. Is it no longer safe to have one single PBN? Several theme pages going to two multiple. I mean, the Carol, it still works. And I would say actually, I mean, it's tough to say how safe it is or how safe it isn't. I can just say that it's safer to have one because if something happens and you're just dealing with one site, it's easier to tell what happened. But on the opposite side of that, I mean, there's people who I've been reverse engineering that are seriously linking to like 20 money sites on one PBN and they're killing it. But then if they get found out and that PBN and their PBNs get hit, since all of them are on their PBNs, all their money sites are going to go down. So it just depends on the risk you want to take. If you want to put 20 money sites on one PBN and have tons of money sites on each PBN, just realize if something happens with the PBN, that's more sites that's going to be affected. So, I mean, that's just a decision as far as risk that you want to take. All right, that's like kind of like a mistake I made with my e-cig sites. Is at first I started where I separated them. Just my e-cig sites I would have on a separate network, and then I started mixing them in with my other stuff because I got lazy. I wanted to rank for more keywords, and I didn't have any leftover PBNs, so I started using my other PBNs, which were linking to other sites, and it mixed everything together. And when my PBNs got hit because of the hosting thing, it tied in many more sites than it should have because I tied everything together. So, I mean, it really just depends on what kind of risk you want to take. And I still take that risk for certain sites, and then there's certain sites that I won't take that risk for. So, yeah. So again, Carol, it's just what I explained. How I mean, it's still working. It's still working. I'm not going to say it's not because I've been reverse engineering, and people are doing fine with it. If they're using different hosts and all that, it's still working. Um, it's just a question again of how safe you want to be. Is it going to continue working? Google's really trying to go after PBNs. I don't think they're even doing that great of a job because the quality I've seen this week is just crazy. What people are ranking with, but it just depends how far that you think that they can take it, and no one really knows that. From Glenn. Um, I would ask David Mills or Mike that question. Either David at omgmachines.com or omg at omgmachines.com. All right, from Rob. No problem, Rob. I mean, social signals, Rob. Social's good for anything, especially now. It's really getting more powerful. And then, of course, you can do PBN type links. If you're good with GSA, you can do GSA stuff. Again, if you're going to be sending mass links, just make sure that you're really varying up the anchor text. All right. If you've taken Jimmy's course on domain authority stacking, you can do that. There's a lot of stuff you can still do without Fiverr. All right, from Reginald. We have an over-the-shoulder series on that, Reginald. I forget exactly what it's called. You can ask that in the Facebook group on the location. But it doesn't have to just be for SEO. People do it for like restaurants and like real estate agents and I mean anything you want really. It's kind of like a just like a guide for a certain city where they can find whatever they're looking for. Maybe it's car insurance, maybe it's used cars, maybe it's um, nail salons. I mean, it can be anything really. It doesn't have to be just SEO. But you can actually use SEO on that as well to drive in those people as well. All right. From Shane. 10 sites. It depends how you're going to be linking to them, Shane. If you're going to if you're going to, like we were talking about this earlier, if you're going to use PBNs and link to a whole bunch of them from the same PBN, you're probably going to want to put them on different hosts because you're not going to want a PBN linking to 4 different money sites, say, all on the same host on the same IP. Even if they're all on the same host, that's even a little weird. That could be a footprint. So it really depends how you're going to be linking to them. If you're going to be doing the safer way, where you're going to be linking, one site per PBN, it's fine that they're all on the same hosting. So it really depends how you're going to set it up. All right, from Vince. I mean, we cover a lot of this in the sink or swim video and stuff, Vince. But I mean, just overall, you want keywords in the URL. Okay, so I mean, it depends what your domain name is. But since we had like Franklin TN Guide, we had Franklin in the domain name. So we put the rest of the keywords kind of in the URL string. For example, like real estate agents. So it's Franklin TN Guide / real estate agents. Google could get out of that, Franklin real estate agents, because they get Franklin from the domain name and then real estate agents from the inner URL. So it's in there. Then we also put like a separate version in the title, like find real estate agents in Franklin, Tennessee, and then maybe just once or twice in the content with LSI as well. LSI is kind of like synonyms, and then from the PBN, I mean you're linking with relevant content, and whatever anchor text you use depends on what the domain and URL combination is for the money site. And again, we talk about all this in the sink or swim method in that video. We really cover a lot anchor text and URL combinations. That's pretty much the biggest thing. So just check out those videos. Oops. Alright, from Kara. I mean, just make sure they have different content at least. I'm guessing they would get different content. But make sure they have different content. I mean, and then you can separate them from there by just making them stronger than everyone else. Sending them strong PBN links with the right anchor text, depending on what the URL is you're linking to. You can send social signals, do Web 2.0s. I mean, just since that side's already kind of set up where you have that domain authority pre-built, just make sure you're getting the unique content and then send strong links with the right anchor text. That's it's almost like ranking a Web 2.0 property, it seems. It's probably a little weaker than Web 2.0, but they already have good domain authority in place, you're saying, so that kind of makes your job easier. Just make sure they have unique content. There's certain ranking features, Peter. I think it has something to do with we never completely figured it out, but something with the phone number, like submitting the phone number with the links or something like that. Like when you're getting links, you're putting the phone number in the links, something like that. I forget exactly what it was. But we didn't try to make this happen. It just happened. But that was just from a $5 fiber gig. That's it. But I think that's what we found out was it was something to do with the phone number being submitted with the links. I'm not positive though. From Vince. Yeah, Vince, that would be the safest way to go. Yep. From Slav, how much do you pay on iWriter? Um, I mean, I've used iWriter. How much you pay depends on quality. I guess that's what you're asking. It depends on what kind of project I'm doing. If it's an important project, I'll go with the most expensive writers. Make sure it's very good. If it's something I'm just testing with, I'll go with medium level. It depends on what you're doing. I'm guessing that's what you're asking. From Vince. I'll usually give them a title and tell them not to make any keywords heavy. The mistake a lot of people make is they include their keywords too many times in their content. If you're trying to rank for Delaware SEO, and they have a 500 word article, they'll put it in there like 10 times. That's I wouldn't do that. I would just put it in there maybe a couple times. Use LSI. Use synonyms. Search engine Delaware search engine optimization. You don't just want Delaware SEO, Delaware SEO, Delaware SEO, Delaware SEO. Have Delaware search engine optimization, Delaware search engine marketing. Um, Search engine optimization in Delaware, search marketing in Delaware. You want to have all different variations. You don't want to keep repeating the keyword over and over. From Shane. I mean, me personally, I just have Google Plus, Shane. I don't use Google Business for my stuff. All right, from Carol. Um, I mean, again, expired domains for money sites are still working great. All right, but with so many changes going on, we're just not comfortable recommending it to the general community. But again, look, they're still working and they're working very well. It's something that I think that they can. It's something that I think that they can make not work though. All right, I think they can program something in the algorithm that shows. The site used to be, or even like, okay, when a domain expires or goes to auction, the old site had a whole bunch of pages about a certain topic, and then it gets changed over to a whole new topic, right? And that doesn't even include the anchor text. That's just the I'm talking about the content of the site, like the old expired domain or the auction domain. If it used to be all about politics and there was 1,000 pages all on politics, then you turn it into electronic cigarettes. Not only has the topic changed, but all the pages that used to be there are no longer there, and new pages on a new topic are being generated. So the way I always look at Google is kind of how can a computer figure this out? Is this something they can program into their algorithm? And I think that's something they could. I mean, seeing a site go from thousands of pages to maybe 10 pages, um, seeing it go from politics to electronic cigarettes, and they can figure that out through the content and possibly the anchor text, depending on what the anchor text is. I just think it's something that they can stop in the near future. All right, so that's why we're not recommending it. because we're looking, especially after this hosting thing happened, we're looking totally at long term now. Even if it takes longer, it takes a little bit more investment, getting more PBNs and stuff like that. We're looking more long term now, and again, the expired domains for money sites are working great, but to be safe, we don't want to recommend it. Okay, I'll still be doing it. I'll still be having sites with it. But if I was going to start like a large company or something like that, that's really important to me, I wouldn't do it on an expired domain on a money site that I got as an expired domain. I would do it on a brand new domain. But if it's just like an affiliate type marketing site I'm going to do, where I'm not going to care a ton if it gets hit, I'll use that because it's going to help. So again, that just comes down to what you're doing and what kind of risk you want to take. All right. And part two. No, I mean, I have WordPress sites ranking with no plugins on them, and they rank totally fine. I mean, no Google XML sitemaps, just the plugins that came with, like Axomet, the spam blocker, and Hello Dolly, which is a pointless plugin. I have sites just because I always test different stuff, and I have sites like that rank fantastic. So, I mean, I've never been one to use a ton of plugins, and I still do money sites where I won't even put any plugins on them just to kind of mix and match. So I mean, no, you don't need plugins. From Vince, you would have to transfer Vince. I transfer pretty much all of my network solutions domains over to GoDaddy or Namecheap or something like that now. I'll transfer them to mostly big registrars where they can blend in easily. From Slav. Yeah, over optimization. Because even those high domain authority properties, before you could send pretty much all the same keyword and you could get away with it, but now they've cut down that even on the high domain authority, so you can get over optimized with even stuff like Weebly. Now, getting like a Weebly to drop because of low quality links is would probably be harder, but getting it to drop because of over optimization is it's very possible. From Carol. And actually, let me show you. Let's go here. Let's go look at the anchor text. It probably has Nashville SEO in like every anchor text, I'm guessing. Yeah. See that? Before this like probably 6 months ago, we would have got away with this. Nashville SEO in every single anchor text. But this is actually a good example because this is what they're cutting down on. You can't, especially with local sites, you can't keep repeating location in anchor text like that. Especially like Nashville SEO, like location plus keyword, Nashville SEO, Nashville SEO, Nashville SEO, Nashville SEO. That's just something you just can't do anymore. All right. I mean, you see it's in every single one, even in these. It's in SEO Nashville. It's in there, Nashville SEO. Every single anchor text. So yeah, I mean, just over optimized. Even though it's a Web 2.0, it can still be over optimized. All right, from Shane. There should be a high definition screen, or a high definition button, I'm sorry, on the lower right or something like that. But if there's not, email David Mills, David at omgmachines.com. I think he has, someone had written him an email about that, and he got it fixed for him somehow. So, but see if that button's there first. Yeah, it should be. From Welton. We're using our real names. I think you're talking about for the hosting accounts. I use my real name for my hosting accounts because I don't think they can track that. I'm almost positive they can't. But I know some people who are extremely paranoid who will do what they'll do is order it through a fake name and email, and they'll pay with PayPal because supposedly Google can't look into PayPal. Supposedly that's the reasoning. But the idea that hosting companies would show who paid with a credit card is obscene to me. I don't think that would ever happen unless they want to get sued. So, I mean, me personally, I've just been signing up with my real name and the same email because I'm not worried about that. I don't think they're going to share my information with Google. And if they do, that's I think that's a lawsuit. So, from Shane. Each on a different host, Shane. I mean, unless they're going to be linking to different money sites, like if you're going to be using the 10 sites to all link to 10 different money sites, you can put them all on the same host. You can put all 10 on Bluehost on the same IP, but they just can't link out to the same money sites because then a money site would be getting a link from the same IP and the same host. So, I mean, it just depends how you're going to be using them. Or let's say you had like 5 money sites you wanted to link to, then, or no, what am I saying? 5. Well, hopefully you know what I mean. I lost track of what I was thinking, but you can put them all on the same host again as long as they're linking to different money sites. All right. All right, from Slav. I mean, I usually get people to order them for me, Slav, so I'm not even sure the price. I don't really pay attention to that. But I mean, I use iWriter, I use the Content Authority, and it again, it depends on the project and how important it is. A lot of test projects, I'll just do medium level, make sure it's decently written, and I'll quickly look over it. And again, I usually just give them the title and tell them not to use the keywords heavily in the article, and to use a lot of synonyms and LSI. From Vince. I would not put a PBN and money site on the same host, no. From Peter. Peter, that's not something I really deal with. I'm not good with client stuff. So I would ask that to Fletch, or you can even bring it up in the Facebook group. A lot of people are good with client stuff in the Facebook group. And we might even talk about that. I'm pretty sure we talk about that somewhere in our members area. Possibly something with Cotton or Fletch. But yeah, ask that in the Facebook group. You can bring that up for discussion and see where that gets you. From Rob. The OMG Command Center has those features in it, but that's of course not free. Microsite Masters. you can track 10 keywords for free, I believe. I'm sure there's other services that are similar where you can get, a few keywords for free. Just make sure when you set up your project, you track at the URL level, not the domain level. Because it's a YouTube video, you don't want to track all of YouTube. You want to track your specific video. But now, other than that, I'm not sure what's out there for that. Alright, from Eric. Yeah, that's how you build PBNs with expired. That terminology gets interchanged. Expired domain is actually a domain that's expired. Those are even fine to use. I use mostly auction domains to use the terminology correctly. But yeah, you can use expired domains for PBNs. From Rob. Not that I know of, Rob. I don't. I think even the other tools out there, Rob, pull their data from the Google Keyword Planner, so I don't think there's anything else out there. From Vince. Yeah, and we talked about this earlier, Vince. It just all goes back to risk. The more you link out to, the more risk you're putting on those sites. If your PBNs go down or something happens with them, then all of those sites have a chance of being affected. So, you can still link out to more. It's just a matter of how much risk you want to take. From Kara. Yeah, very small towns, they're not going to get a ton of searches. But yeah, 10 hits a month can help someone's business. If you're they even if they convert one out every 10, that's one customer a month. For a small town, that's not horrible. I don't know if you're doing something wrong, because I don't know. I haven't seen it obviously, but I don't think it's unusual to get very little hits for very small areas. 10,000 people is not many. So, it would make sense to me that maybe 100 people search for dentist stuff a month, or maybe, say between 100 and a couple hundred, and then 10% of those find your ad. Or, I'm sorry, 10 out of those find your ad. That seems on point with me, so I doubt you're doing anything wrong. It's probably just a very small area. And I don't know what keywords you're targeting. You can with AdWords you can target many different variations. You might just be targeting like one. So I'd have to see the campaign. And I'm not an AdWords expert either. From Carol. I didn't see anything, Carol. All I can see is sorry, didn't seem to send first time. From Eric. How soon would it take to rank in EMD? It depends how competitive the keyword is, Eric. Now you can rank it very quickly if it's not competitive, or if it's a competitive term, it could take a long time. It really depends on competitiveness. and then also how you do your anchor text and what type of links you're giving it, all that stuff. And we just covered this one, Vince. And we're lacking on questions, so if you guys got any, throw them in. Got a few more here. Alright, from Noel. Yeah, man, good question, Noel. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say you necessarily need a PBN link for each page. You know, if you're doing interlinking and let's say you have like a plumber's page, right? And you mention heating repair, and you also have a heating repair page, and you link to your heating repair from your plumbing. I mean, that alone could rank that page. It depends on the competition and how much domain authority you have going to the site and all that stuff. But I mean, no, you wouldn't necessarily need a PBN for each page. Yeah, even in less competitive locations, as you build your domain authority, even without interlinking too much, you could put up a page and be first page for that term, depending on how competitive it is. So, from Rob. Yeah, and Rob said he lives in a town of 40,000 or so, and the dentist gets about 50. So that sounds about right, and I agree with him. And of course, it depends, how many keywords you're doing, like I said. From Vince. Yeah, I mean, per PBN, I usually just do one anchor text per PBN, Vince. From Shane. I mean, means of generating leads, you got SEO, uh, Google AdWords, and probably like Facebook advertising, for stuff like whatever type of art he's doing. And again, I'm not an advertising expert, I'm more SEO, but that's what comes to my mind as far as, means of generating leads would just be SEO and then paid advertising. And of course, whatever keywords he's trying to, get people with. If he's doing like high quality art, you would want to look into high quality art keywords. Or if he's doing, scenic or like stuff on like nature, like scenic nature artistry, you'd want to look into, whatever keywords that goes in with that niche and go after them. So. Alright, from Tora. Um, I do, Tora. Unless the links are like ridiculously good, which is pretty hard to tell when they're foreign sometimes. I would ignore them to be safe. Again, and that's not a thing where I'm saying they don't work. It's just something for long term. It's something that they can easily cut out. I mean, they see a site that's up in English, and all the links going out are in Chinese. That's a pretty easy correlation for an algorithm to make. So Me personally, I barely have any of those sites, and the ones that I do, the links are like incredibly strong, and I mostly use them just for testing stuff. So I personally would stay away from them. No problem, Carol. From Slav. Yeah, I mean it could be worth it, Slav. If you can get a decent quality link from something that's relevant, especially something that's relevant like that, then yeah, I mean it could definitely be worth it. Relevancy is playing more of a part. So I mean, yeah, as long as it's not like a spammy type thing, a relevant link that's fairly easy to get's good. From Vince, yeah, people are making money with my city with city guide sites. And again, a lot of people are putting up their SEO, my city SEO or SEO pages on their my city guide site, and they're driving in clients for that, and then also using it to advertise for clients. So they're kind of using it for two purposes. From Eric. If I start off with 100, what, Eric? If you're saying $100, I mean, it depends what you already have. I mean, if you have absolutely nothing and only $100, you're going to want to do local in a fairly smaller area, so it's not competitive. And you're obviously going to have to do most of it yourself. You're going to have to do the content yourself. Um, Start building social. Build YouTube for it, build a Twitter for it, build a Facebook for it. Post to all of those. Link it all back to the money site. Link them all together. Um, from there, build with some Web 2.0s. Build out the content on them and link back to your money site. All right, and from that alone, you should actually rank pretty good. So I mean, if I had $100, it would just be a lot of stuff. Me doing stuff manually and starting in low competition, local. Do a my city in a fairly low competition, and build out your social. And then of course you can do Web 2.0 as well. So I mean, that's what I would do if I had pretty much no money. Something along those lines, or I would go after very long tail affiliate type keywords. I probably wouldn't start with affiliate if I only had $100. All right, from Carol. Oh, absolutely, Carol. No doubt about it. From Vince. When you purchase an expired domain, and again, this goes into proper terminology. An expired domain is actually a domain that's expired and goes back into the registrar. So an expired domain, again, to be technically correct with terminology, would actually be wherever you register it, because an expired domain, it actually gets put back into the domain pool and you can register it wherever you want. What we talk about a lot is expired domains are actually auction domains, and an auction domain will go to whoever it was hosted, whoever the owner hosted it with, or the previous owner hosted it with. So, if I let KLKS expire and it went to the domain auction phase, KLKS is with, I believe, Network Solutions. So whoever won the auction, it would go to their network solutions account. Do you have to purchase that? I mean, if you win the auction, you're supposed to purchase the domain. If you don't, they can, kill your account, or they'll give you a warning or something like that. I mean, it depends how you use those three domains, Vince. I mean, I try to switch up things as good as I can. But again, Namecheap's a pretty big registrar, so if you sent all three of those, again, this goes back to the first question we did. If all three of those were on different hosts, but they were all on the same registrar, is that something that they would penalize you for? We're not sure, because we haven't really gone that far yet. We haven't tried it to do it on purpose. But Namecheap's pretty big, so you might actually get away with that. Hello, Reginald. Yeah, and we talked about that. Alright, Vince. Vince, I mean, you could put an affiliate page up for My City Guide, but I mean, My City Guides are more meant for local. Unless, I mean, you could tie it in probably somehow, like if you're talking about like e-cigarette stores, just an example, like e-cigarette stores. Let's say like places that buy gold in your city, and you want to say, hey, if you want to buy gold online, check out this company with your affiliate link to whatever company you're promoting. So I mean, you could tie it in like that, but it's more meant for local, in my opinion. From Rob. Yeah, I mean, in non-competitive markets, videos with social can actually rank extremely well. And if you use a GSA campaign, yeah, be very careful with the anchor text. Use more like general type stuff. Like for example, let's go back to the Nashville SEO. So instead of doing like this, Nashville and everything, you want to have like just SEO. Weebly.com SEO page, SEO company, search engine optimization by itself. Just stuff like just continue reading, go here, helpful SEO hints, like stuff where you're tying in the general topic and not including the location. Okay, so let's do an example. There's not many questions, so I'll just do an example. So if you're doing GSA, stuff like if we say there was 10 links, obviously there's going to be way more than 10. Go here. We're trying to rank for Nashville SEO. SEO company, search engine optimization, marketing, uh, online marketing company, marketing services, this Nashville firm. You want to do more stuff like this, like where you're hitting, you got some general stuff in here. Let's even put like, read more. Like with stuff like GSA, of course. Where you're having stuff like this, like go here, read more, visit their site. You want to mix in that stuff, and then stuff on the general topic, search engine optimization, and then the general topic with other words without the location, like SEO company. Then you got, like this one, marketing, same thing. It's kind of like the general topic. Then mixing it with a more specific online marketing company. Again, without Nashville in there. And then you can mix in your keywords in longer anchor text. And have it by itself very, very seldomly. You don't need to use this very much. Like, you're better off being safe and mixing it in like this more than hitting this too many times. And hitting plenty of this stuff where your location is not in there. All right. Um, I put social explosions on my PBNs, Vince. Helps it index it quicker, I believe, and gives it a little more power. From Carol. Yeah, I mean, those are actually Web 2.0s in a way, Carol. I mean, yeah, they're Web 2.0s, but Web 2.0 is more something I think that you can have content on it, like when I think of it. But technically, these are Web 2.0s. When I say them, I more mean less stuff like Weebly, where you can actually put up content. I mean, you can put content on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, but it's a little different. But you can actually put up like an article. Like, let's go to the SEO Weebly page. Oops. It's kind of like a Web 2.0, like a property that has high domain authority where you can put content on it. I mean, you can with Facebook, but where it looks more like a normal website. Okay, like you got all this content in here. That's harder to do with like Twitter. You know what I mean? Stuff like Tumblr, Weebly, Hub Pages, stuff like that. That's kind of what I meant by Web 2.0 when I said it. But yeah, Facebook and Twitter technically are Web 2.0 as well. And all that stuff. From Reginald. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you can do that, Reginald. I mean, you can also go after the same stuff he is. I mean, he doesn't mind if you want to try to challenge him. But yeah, I mean, going after smaller areas can definitely work for you. Easier to rank for, not as much competition. From Slav. That would be more a question for Fletchlav. He does the Google 7 pack much more than I do. I just don't want to get it wrong. From Vince. Yeah, Social Explosion is all about social, Vince, yes. From Shane. I mean, by retheming them, Shane, I just mean with the content you put on them. So, I mean, you can have, woodcreations.com and put up stuff on jazz or music if you want. It's more about retheming it with the content. Whatever content you put on it. That's what I mean by retheming. From Kara. An IP address is something I would have to look it up to give you the exact definition. It's hard to explain than what's going on in my brain, but I mean it's just something that helps identify where something's coming from. It's kind of the simplest way to put it. If you're getting different hosting companies or different hosting accounts from different hosting companies, you're automatically going to have different IPs. All right, so that's kind of all you need to know. Kara, the best advice for you would be to make sure your PBNs and your money sites are on different hosts, and then of course make sure each PBN is on a different host that you link to a money site with. And that's kind of just the easiest way to get it to you right now. Just make sure everything's different, and then in that case your IPs will be different. If you got any final questions, put them in now. It's a little after 9:30. Yeah, good. That's a good way to put it. More blog types is what I meant, Carol. By like Weebly and Tumblr and stuff like that. I mean, when I think of Web 2.0s, that's more what I think of. It's stuff like blog type sites that have high domain authority. But technically speaking, Facebook, Twitter, that's all Web 2.0 as well. Very welcome, Shane. And let me check to see if. Alright, there's one more from Slav here. Yeah, I mean, it could be Slav. Absolutely. I would have to see the links, but yeah, I mean, it could definitely be worth it. Alright, so let's see if there's any more questions here. Then we'll get rolling. I had a long day, if you couldn't tell by my energy level tonight. So let's see. Alright, cool. Alright, so it looks like we're all good here. I will get this, and you're all very welcome. Thanks for the good questions and getting. My biggest fear is always there's not going to be enough questions, and there always has been, so I'm glad to see that. People are, writing down their questions and asking them and getting what they need out of this, So yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'll have this over to David tonight, and he should have it up by tomorrow if anyone wants to see the replay. Alright, I will see you all next week. I'll probably have my next webinar either Monday or Tuesday, I'm guessing. Maybe Wednesday. But it'll be next week. Alright, I'll see you guys next session. Thanks for coming.